Stephanie, always great to see you. Let's take a look. Have you walk us through a couple of the macroeconomic numbers that are out this week and what your expectations are, if not decimal point by decimal point, at least by trend.
Sure. It's good to see you, Tyler. So big week for inflation, right? We get CPI, PPI, we get the unit labor cost for the second quarter, and all the numbers are going to be hot. Maybe not as hot as the last couple of prints, but they're still going to be high. Core CPI, 6.1%. Core PPI, 7.7%. These are year-over-year numbers. That's these expectations. And then the unit labor cost for the second quarter, 7.1%. So they're going to be high, but we probably have seen peak. But it's way too much. It's way too much higher than what the Fed wants, right? And so I look back at last week, and we actually had some pretty good data. It wasn't just jobs; it was JOLTS, it was factory orders, it was new orders within the ISM, and it was prices paid that came down. So it doesn't look like recession right now. I just worry about 2023 because there is a lag effect between when the Fed raises rates and when we start to see it in the data.
Mm-hmm. It's not just obviously data that we're going to look at this week. It's earnings numbers. Let's go through three stocks that you have on your watch list, not necessarily that you're buying or something. The first one is International Flavors and Fragrances, IFF. Is this an iffy stock?
I like this stock. The only problem is it trades at 22 times forward estimate. So if it were to pull back, it would absolutely be on my radar to be buying it. We're going to learn about demand, pricing, inflation trends because they have 45,000 global customers, right? And they sell into the household products companies as well as the personal care, beverage, and food. So I think organic growth is going to be double digits, nice margin expansion. We're going to hear a little bit about discretionary because they have a fragrance business, right? But I think the big kicker to this story is the synergies that we are going to see from the DuPont acquisition last year that they made for $26 billion. I think there's upside there. And that's why if the stock were to pull back, you've got cushion on the top and bottom lines.
So that's International Flavors. Steph, let's talk about some of the other ones. Disney, Illumina that you're watching. I mean, how important are earnings this week in general? What's at stake here?
Well, Disney, because so many people are wondering about streaming, and we haven't gotten any good data from any of the streaming companies, unfortunately. This is a very popular name. Here's the thing, Kelly, it's down 31% of the year, but it has just rallied over the last couple of weeks, up 15%. And it trades expensive. It's at 28 times earnings. And the reason it's expensive is because of streaming. And we're all kind of worried about those numbers. Now, I think the sub number is going to be just fine, 11 million for the fiscal third quarter. But we want to hear about their guidance for 230 to 260 million they expect by 2024. I think that's going to be a struggle. And if they do make it, they're going to have to see a lot higher expenses. And we know it's just a very competitive environment.